Hello and welcome back to Big Nostalgia, the podcast where we look at games from our childhood, where they come from, the stories of their development, and the story within the game itself. We then talk about the audio and visual design, and if we like it, does it hold up? We also discuss a game's legacy. Is it well remembered? Did it spawn a million sequels, or is it an obscure title that we hear little about nowadays? I am Vicky.
I'm Phill.
And we are continuing our second half of the season on Game Boy Color games with something a bit different. With keys and carrots to find, this is our first Looney Tunes game of the season, Bugs Bunny in Crazy Castle 4. Take it away, Phill.
So, why are we talking about this game? Well, we have one or two of them every season. The games that we owned that were not big titles, we don't really remember where they came from or who gave them to us, but we played them a lot because they were the games that we owned. And this is that one this season for me, Bugs Bunny in Crazy Castle 4. It was released on Game Boy Color in Japan on the 21st of April 2000, in Europe on the 3rd of July 2000, and I couldn't find the exact date for North America, but it was also July 2000. No, this is one of those ones where I could find very little, but I did my darndest. So let's talk about some Crazy Castle. So yeah, this is where I usually talk about the background of the game, and there is not much around the fourth Crazy Castle game, but there's some interesting stuff on the series as a whole, which I'll talk about later, as it is my only quirk. So I'm not going to use it now. I need it for the quirk section.
No spoilers.
It was developed by Kemco, and it's a single-player platform game. The developer Kemco still exists today. I was able to find their website. They haven't even done any rebrands. It's the exact same logo as they had 25 years ago, but they mostly make JRPGs and mobile games now, rather than licensed games.
Fair.
So this game's story is quite straightforward. You're Bugs Bunny, you find a map to a castle, and without reading the rest, you assume it must be a carrot castle. Because you see the C, and you see the word castle. So you head off. That's the entire plot. However,
I feel like that's a dyslexic way of reading it. You just fill in the gaps when you have dyslexia. You have as long as you have the main letters, your brain fills it in. So maybe there's a hint towards Bugs Bunny having slight dyslexia.
Bugs Bunny dyslexia, maybe. However, when Bugs Bunny drops the map, it is revealed that no, it's not Carrot Castle, it's Crazy Castle. Dun dun dun. So supposedly this has happened to Bugs Bunny a few times before this, as this is the fourth game. But classic Bugs, he hasn't learned. So characters. Well, in this game you are Bugs Bunny. Over the course of the game you encounter many of the Looney Tunes crew, such as Daffy Duck, Yosemite Sam, I say Foghorn Leghorn, Elmer Fudd, Pepe Le Pew, Wile E. Coyote, and those are the names that I actually recognised in this list. So I'm actually interested, do you know any of these ones? We have Beaky Buzzard.
No.
Count Blood Count.
Yeah. Isn't he like a vampire?
I would guess so with that name.
Yeah.
Elvis the Gorilla.
No.
Fox Pop.
No.
Gossamer.
But then again, we didn't watch a lot of Looney Tunes growing up.
No.
Did we watched the odd episode, but we weren't exactly Warner Brothers Looney Tune fans. I'd say we're more the Pokemon, more the Saturday morning TV, like with what's his name, Mr. Blobby.
Well, I remember that the Looney Tunes cartoon that was on when I was a kid was the specific Taz one. Like it was Taz in Tasmania,
yeah.
Taz in Tasmania.
Taz in Tasmania. Yeah.
So,
blah, 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 blah.
So to get through the rest of these ones I didn't know, got Little Ghost, Mark Antony, Opat the Leprechaun, and Witch Hazel.
Oh, Witch Hazel, I know.
Okay. And talking of Taz, he is the big bad boss of this game. And it does seem to be that he is the owner of the aforementioned Crazy Castle.
How did Taz get a license to a property?
I don't know. And also who in Crazy Castle, there are big portraits of Taz's face. Who painted them, and why are there so many?
There's so many questions unanswered.
Somehow the Tasmanian Devil has suddenly found himself with money to burn, it seems.
Maybe they used up all the more traditional, the Count in the earlier Crazy Castles.
You'd think so, but I did have a quick look. It does seem like Taz is typically the final boss in the Crazy Castle series.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very strange.
Yeah, very strange.
And, well, the thing is with these characters is there's no real, traditional boss fights. They're more all, stage hazards. And, so in the final levels, it's Taz is kind of chasing you around, doing, his kind of whirlwind thing to, follow you. Whereas other of these guys, walk up and down. Obviously, Yosemite Sam shoots his gun. It's all of them kind of have different behaviours. Because you're trying to just essentially avoid combat as much as possible.
Yeah. What can I say? Bugs Bunny is just a peacekeeper, really, isn't he? Trying to avoid all those battles.
I mean, you can battle enemies. I'll talk about the design in a second, but yeah, you can battle enemies, but you don't have any attacks. You don't have an attack button.
Yeah.
Because I need to mention the last character, that is Lola Bunny. And Lola Bunny appears right at the end of the game, because you save her after completing the final level. This is, as far as I could tell, and remember, this is not set up at all. Because Bugs thinks he's going to Carrot Castle for carrots. And then I'm pretty sure the dialogue at the end, he's even like, I didn't know you were here. But he saves he saves Lola Bunny, and she gives him a kiss on the cheek.
This is a coincidence.
And that's just how the game ends.
Lola's feeling a bit rubbish then, isn't she?
She's like, thank you for saving me. And he's like, oh, I didn't even know you were kidnapped. And she's like, well, I thought I was getting carrots.
Yeah. Oh, they all land in Lola's way then.
Yeah.
If she gets saved by a guy who didn't even know she needed saving.
The game is quite simple, where you just have to search around rooms for 8 keys and then go to the exit, so every level follows that format. As the game goes on, there's more branching paths, rooms which don't have the keys in, they have other items or sometimes enemies. But you are trying to navigate round. There is, rather strangely, you're Bugs Bunny, you are a rabbit. You can't jump. You just kind of wander. You meander. So to get up and down the level geometry, you have to make use of there's slopes, and there's bits you can go in spiral, upward spirals you can climb, or there's springs that can help you get really high, but you can't jump.
Why would you design a game where the bunny main character doesn't jump?
That is a good question, which we'll come back to later. So the only way you can defeat enemies is that you'll come across some things like mushrooms and things like that you can push, and you just kind of shove them into the enemy and it kills them. Jumping into a very rare Big Nostalgia in the edit edition, just to note that there are some projectiles like balloons, a little traps you can leave, and I think you also get some projectiles, but they're not common, and they're limited quantities, so you have to preserve them. So that is your only way. Otherwise, it is about just more avoiding and predicting their behaviour than anything else. Something I'd never realised as a kid, maybe because, as a kid you never really beat these games. There are over 100 levels across 13 worlds.
Really?
Yes.
That's a lot of worlds. Levels.
It's a lot of levels.
For a game that you can't even jump.
Yeah, but when you consider to other games of the era, like Super Mario Bros., obviously which had its deluxe port, which we talked about last week with Nick, that has 32 courses, 64 if you do the game again on the new game mode. Next week's game, Wario Land, has 50 courses. It's a lot of stuff, really, for a licensed game.
Yeah.
And the levels are all kind of different themes. So you've got forest levels, caves, mountains, machines, rivers, castles. And for Crazy Castle, it's both the inner and the outer walls of the castle. You slowly infiltrate your way in. Thinking it's, I guess... I'm not sure at which point Bugs realises it's not Carrot Castle, but...
Probably at the very end when
Probably at the very end, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. It's hey, you're not a carrot.
Hey, you're not a carrot. Get back in the box.
Yeah. I didn't mean to rescue you.
The music is classic Game Boy Color era kind of MIDI goodness. It's not the most memorable. There are some cool tracks that when I was listening to the soundtrack, I was like, oh yeah, I remember this one. This one, like, stuck in my head as a kid. But I suppose when you have to compare to the other games like we're talking about, I have such classic soundtracks.
Such classic, like, comes straight to mind when you think of, like, a Game Boy Color game or certain games. For that one, just a bit have, like, meh.
Yeah. It doesn't help that there is a tune that plays once you found all 8 keys. There's like a repeating tune that plays, basically telling you to go to the exit. It's really annoying. It goes and like it will just repeat until you complete the level. And as the game goes on,
I don't know where the exit is.
It takes longer and longer to get from the final key to the exit, and you're just like listening to this thing like loop around. And you're like, obviously it's meant to be like fast paced to be like exciting, but I can't say it's my favourite track. So I looked for who was the composer, and I think I found it. Because I found some actual piano sheet music for the Machine Room track from this game, and it was credited to someone called Hiroyuki Masuno. So I looked up that name, and this person was a composer at Kemco during this time period. So given how composers typically, a lot of the games we talk about just had a single composer, my guess would be that this person did the entire thing. So there are some tracks I like. I like the title theme, and like there's some early tracks I like, but there's it's a fine soundtrack for a licensed game.
Yeah.
We are 13 minutes in and we're on to quirks.
Your singular quirk, I'm very excited.
Well, it's a very big quirk. It's a long quirk as well.
Go on then, hit me.
So the biggest / only quirk I found out about this game was how the series itself is just a big mess of different licensing and copyright arrangements in different regions, to the extent where the Wikipedia page for the series has a table to just explain what version of the game was released where.
Okay.
So you see, the original Crazy Castle game was actually for the Famicom, which was the Nintendo Entertainment System in Japan, and it was developed in Japan as a tie-in for the Roger Rabbit movie.
Okay.
But the Roger Rabbit movie had a different tie-in game everywhere else that was developed by Rare, who developed Banjo-Kazooie, Diddy Kong Racing, etc.
Yeah.
So instead, in North America, the game was released as the Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle. So that's game 1. In Japan, it was Roger Rabbit. In America, it was Bugs Bunny. Next, this game was ported to the original Game Boy. But in Japan, it was no longer a Roger Rabbit game. It was released as a Mickey Mouse game.
What? That's not even the right franchise.
So, bear in mind, this is all
it's a mouse to a bunny.
This is all released... This is all like the same game, but just with obviously different sprites and like skins and stuff.
Okay.
Outside of Japan, this Game Boy port was still Bugs Bunny.
Yeah.
So, outside of Japan, it was still the Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle on Game Boy. The third game, also Game Boy, and if I've understood the table correctly, this game was, again, a Mickey Mouse game in Japan. It was the Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle 2 in North America, but now in the PAL regions, which is kind of Europe, Australia, it was a Mickey Mouse game again, but this time it was just called Mickey Mouse. Except in...
No Crazy Castle.
No Crazy Castle, it was just called Mickey Mouse.
Okay.
Except in certain places in Europe, where it was based on the Danish comic character Hugo. That is 4 different versions of Game 3.
So you've got Bugs Bunny, you've got Mickey Mouse, you've got Hugo, and you've got...
Roger Rabbit as well, who was the original.
Roger Rabbit was still a thing?
No, not by that time, but we're like...
No.
This is the 4th kind of franchise that's covered by this point. So, games 2 and 3... In Japan, obviously, like I said, they were Mickey Mouse games.
Yeah.
Japan then received a compilation of those 2 games, where the main character was, you guessed it, Bugs Bunny.
God. Okay.
So, despite the fact this is a combination of 2 games that in Japan had been released as Mickey Mouse games, the combination pack was a Bugs Bunny game.
Jeez Louise.
Bear in mind, we're just getting to game 4. There are 9 games that we need to talk about here.
Okay, now I understand why it's a big quirk. This would be funny if this quirk is about the same length as your
The rest of the video
so far.
Game 4.
Like, yeah, keep going. Yeah.
We're back on the Nintendo Entertainment System. This one did not release in the PAL regions from what I could gather. In Japan, this was Mickey Mouse free. But in North America, it was turned into a game called Kid Klown in Nightmare World. So...
What?
You in the audience may be asking, who the fuck is Kid Klown? And the answer is, dunno. It seems to be a few of the reskins from this period were made into this Kemco-owned character, Kid Klown. But as far as I could tell, it's not based on anything.
Okay.
So...
It was just its own thing.
That was just its own thing.
That's so weird.
So, Game 5. In Japan, this was Mickey Mouse 4, as you may have come to expect. So,
yeah.
All so far so good. In North America, this was a game called The Real Ghostbusters.
Okay.
And in Europe, it was a Garfield game called Garfield Labyrinth.
Fuck. Why not add Garfield? So we've got Roger Rabbit, Mickey Mouse,
Bugs Bunny, Hugo, Kid Klown,
and now
The Real
Garfield.
Ghostbusters.
Oh, Real
and
Ghostbusters. Garfield. So now we're up to 7.
So we've had 7 franchises across only 5 games.
There's still 4 more games to go.
So, to be fair, we start to get a little bit of consistency after this. So, Game 6.
Okay.
This was Mickey Mouse Everywhere, including being sold as Mickey Mouse 5 in Europe, which had only ever received one other Mickey Mouse game.
Oh.
Game 6, comparatively nice and simple.
Yeah.
Game 7 is Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle free everywhere. Aside from the fact that it was also released in Japan as another Kid Klown game. So this is just to remind you...
That is number 3.
That the last Kid Klown game was released in North America. So it's not even as if you could play 2 Kid Klown games.
Yeah.
So that's a bit confusing. But at this point, it's pretty consistently... It's Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle free almost everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Game 8 is this game that we're talking about. Bugs Bunny in Crazy Castle 4 everywhere. No exceptions, not even any Kid Clowns.
So Game 8 is actually Game 4.
Yes. Game 9 is our last completely different franchise because Bugs Bunny got replaced. And the game was called Woody Woodpecker in Crazy Castle 5.
So we're up to 8 now.
Yeah. 8 different franchises across 9 games.
And some of them coming out at the same time.
And some of them have, different numbers after them. Some of them don't. It's very curious that they still called it Crazy Castle 5 when they completely changed it from Bugs Bunny to Woody Woodpecker.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Do they still save Lola? Does Woody Woodpecker still think it's a carrot castle?
I don't know. Oh my god. So yeah, that was my quirk for the series about
that was indeed an impressive quirk.
Interesting, yeah. A little IP and tie-in game agreements used to be back in those days. So legacy. Well, obviously the legacy of this game is that Bugs Bunny had established himself as the star finally across all regions, only to be replaced by Woody Woodpecker. There was one more game with Bugs Bunny in the title that I could find, which was a game called Bugs Bunny and Taz Time Busters, which sounds like a very interesting game.
Yeah. Sounds like a weird version of Doctor Who.
It does. So there's been obviously tons of Looney Tunes games since then. They've mostly just been big Looney Tunes, the entire cast. Most recently, yeah. Bugs Bunny was playable. I'm not sure you saw that. It was a Smash Brothers game, Multiverses, which had all the Warner Bros. Characters in. So it was Bugs Bunny, Batman, etc.
So I want to see Batman beat up Bugs Bunny.
You can. It's the glorious future that we live in now.
Yeah.
I had to look to find reviews from the era, and I found a few. So IGN gave it a 7 out of 10, saying it was pretty good. Ironically saying that the Bugs Bunny license was a bit unnecessary.
Oh.
So that's interesting. A place called Game Vortex gave it 6 out of 10, but I wasn't able to work out. I think that might have just been a blog. There were also lots of German reviews I couldn't read. Yeah, because this is one where the Wikipedia page just has been updated with people's blogs and stuff, like the review section, which they don't tend to do for other games. It took me actually clicking through a few of them being like, these do not feel like professional outlets.
Where is the internet taking me?
So, yeah, honestly, to me, 6 out of 10 probably seems about right. I enjoyed this game as a kid in the context of the system in which it was released. I think it was the first game I got for it as well. I think we were both given it the Game Boy Colors at the same time for Christmas, weren't we?
We were, yeah. Mine was yellow and had a Pikachu on it.
Mine was green and I still have it.
Yeah, my one's somewhere, but I don't have any of the games for it anymore. And I don't think it actually, even with batteries in it, actually works.
Yes. Mine worked last time I tried it, but I haven't tried it in a couple of years now. It's a pretty solid experience. If they remastered and released the whole series, would I want to play it? No, is the honest answer. But I'd be curious enough to get it on sale, just for the nostalgia. Vicky, any reflections on Crazy Castle 4? Did you play this one?
So, for me, Crazy Castle 4 was more of a you game. It's something that you got for your console. I think I played it a couple of times, like talking about the characters, talking about the levels. I was like, my little memory was going, hey, you recognise that.
Yeah.
But mine was more a game that we're going to be touching on later on in this series, which is the Tweety Bird game.
Mm-hmm.
So for this one, just on the fact that I didn't play it very much, and when I did play it, I wasn't at all blown away. The fact that you're a rabbit and you can't even jump really did bug me back in the day. Like, it feels like a very big machine floor, like mechanical floor. And
when you learn the history, it seems even stranger, because if it was made as a Roger Rabbit game, that's also a rabbit.
Yeah, so it'd still need to jump. And I used to find it frustrating that you didn't have an attack button, you had to rely on the stuff around you. So I would personally give it between a 4 and a 5.
Yeah.
It'd be quite low in my ratings just because of the little amount that I played it, and the bits I have played I was quite disappointed by. But
yeah.
It still, killed a few hours. There was nothing, majorly wrong with it. It felt like it was underdeveloped. It felt like it'd been released halfway through being made, and it had so much more potential, but unfortunately the people developing it did not put in that potential because it was just another Warner Brothers game.
Yeah.
There's certain franchises, like the Disney ones to an extent, they know they're going to get a pay out when it comes to making those games, because you've got the fans for the subject. So, yeah, I was just a bit disappointed.
Yeah.
This brings us to the end of another episode of Big Nostalgia Season 4. What did you think? Have you played any Bugs Bunny games? Did you often mistake the word for crazy for carrot? Let us know in the comments. Next time, Phill and I are looking at another weird and wonderful adventure with a different platforming hero. Join us as we take a look at Wario Land 2. I've been Vicky.
I've been Phill.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Best of luck looking for carrots. Thank you for joining us. Bye.
Bye. This is your turn. This brings us to the end of another episode.
I thought you were doing it.
I thought I was doing next time. Oh, okay.
Oh, I can do this bit then.
No. It's just both sitting here waiting for the other person. Right, okay.